I am obviously a book collector, but I have very few duplicates of books that I own. So in this video, we're gonna go through every book that I have multiple copies of. I usually only get multiple copies of books when I'm traveling and they are souvenirs, or when there's a very special edition of a book that I absolutely love. So this video might be very short. And the fun thing is about these books in particular is that I'm sure if I do this video again in a year or 2 or 10, I will have even more copies of these books in particular. And I wonder which books I might have multiple copies of in the future. So first and most obviously, I have 5 different versions of Pride and Prejudice. I only have 4 with me right now because I lent my 5th one to my friend. She's reading Pride and Prejudice for the first time, but it is a Barnes & Noble version with a very pretty ballroom cover on the front. Very normal looking otherwise. I do think it was the first one that I found. I don't particularly remember where though. This is the second one that I have. It is also a Barnes & Noble exclusive. It's that really pretty soft, kind of soft cover edge. These are the end papers, and then the edges are green. And it's just otherwise pretty normal. It does have one of these really fun ribbon bookmarks that I absolutely adore. In the back and foil it says, "It's a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife." This next Pride and Prejudice I have is half in Spanish and half in English. I got it in a outdoor market in Madrid while I was backpacking. One page is entirely in Spanish and one is entirely in English. I would love to get to the point where I can read it in Spanish. The next version I found is this absolutely stunning version that you open it up and there are handwritten letters of all of the letters from throughout the story. This is going to be the edition that I think I will reread this year. I try to reread this version, or it's retelling every year. And lastly, my newest edition is this beautiful cloth-bound classic that is entirely in German. I got it on my most recent trip to Germany. I would love to also get to the point where I know German well enough that I can read this. That is really the only romance or historical romance or contemporary book at all that I have duplicates of. Next, I do have 2 different versions of The Lord of the Rings. This first version I bought at my library for $4, this box set, and the covers are stills from the movie, and they are, oh, they're spectacular. And the second set I got in England a few years ago. They're a little beat up because they traveled a ways, but they are some of the most beautiful books that I own. I mean, they are just, beyond stunning. I have duplicates of Madeline Miller's work, so I have Circe and the Song of Achilles in paperback, as well as in these gorgeous hardback foiled editions. They are beyond stunning. The end papers are just beyond stunning. It just feels really good in your hands. And on the back they have some really great quotes. I also have multiple editions of the Odyssey, obviously from different translations and just different classics. So this first one I have is beyond stunning, and then this version that just looks like it should be in a very old library. And my newest addition to the collection, the graphic version. I am so excited to read this version. I'm sure I have more down there that are just hiding from me. I'm not gonna pull it out because it's very buried, but I do have this version as well as the picture version of like the new solid colors of Throne of Glass, and I do have this version plus the normal also solid color first ACOTAR book, and I also have that in the hardback form. On the same trip to Europe, I got 2 different versions of The Rose Bargain. I thought it was going to be one of my new 5 stars, and these books are absolutely gorgeous, and I gave the book 4 stars. I haven't decided if I'm going to sell one of them or not. They are both special editions and they are both gorgeous. I just haven't decided yet. I have 3 different editions of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is the original beat up version that I think I found in a little free library or something. It's very old, very beat up, but this is the first one I read. And then on the same trip around England, I ended up picking up both of these versions. This is the first one that I found in a Waterstones, I think, and I thought it was just absolutely stunning. The end papers of this were great, and I love this naked hardback. And then later on that same trip, I found this version. It has stenciled edges. It's on the top. It is gray or silver, which I thought was really pretty, but it was the end paper artwork that really sold me for this one. In a pretty cool naked cover. And then here we are on the back. I thought these were so gorgeous. So those both ended up coming home with me. I am a huge Peter Pan fan. It's one of my favorite stories ever, and so I love to reread it every year. And so over the years I have amassed a little bit of a collection. First, I have this classic Disney picture book, very children's and original, but the artwork is beautiful. And then I have this picture book that is a bit more reminiscent of the original tale. And then I have this absurdly gorgeous version of Peter Pan and Wendy, and it is illustrated and oh my god, probably the prettiest one that I own, illustration wise. And then I have this classic paperback version of it. This paperback version is probably the one that I have read the most. It just like feels the most like a book. I found this Peter Pan version that again on the left is in English and on the right is in French. I'd love to be able to read this one day. And the newest addition to the collection is this absolutely stunning version. I saw it and I absolutely just could not say no. One of the most beautiful editions I've ever seen in my life, plus these end papers. And then the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I do have the hardback Barnes & Noble editions that are very beautiful, but I have the second and third books in the UK Waterstones secret covers. I don't have the first book because I was not part of the series by then, but I have the Apple for The Curse for True Love, and for Ballad I have the infamous highly wanted dragon. I searched, my best friend and I searched through hundreds, I'm not even kidding, hundreds of books to find this dragon. I would love for one day to be able to find a secret cover, literally any of them, for the first book so I can complete that collection. And here's my Graceling collection. Graceling was my favorite fantasy book when I was in high school, and yeah, that love continued. So there's 5 books currently out, and this is what the original series looked like when it was published in the States. This is Graceling, which is the first book, my absolute favorite. Fire is the second. I have it both in paperback and in hardcover. And Bitter Blue is the 4th book. I'm not even entirely sure if they ever printed a 5th book in this type because they have a whole new set of American versions. That would be these. I only have 2 of the 5 of these, and this one's in paperback and this one's in hardcover, so the collection's all over the place. But my favorites are absolutely these UK Waterstones editions. This is all 5 of them together. I think they are just stunning. We have Graceling, Fire, Bitter Blue, Winterkeep, and the newest is Sea Sparrow. And when I was buying all of these versions, Sea Sparrow was just coming out in hardcover, which is why I also have it in hardcover, because I wanted it to match the rest of the series and I wanted to read it immediately. And it wasn't until like a year or 2 later where I was finally able to get the paperback to match the rest. And finally, last but most certainly not least, my Percy Jackson collection. First of all, these are my actual original paperbacks that I read in 5th grade as these books were coming out. I started the series when just these 3 were out, and then I bought these 2 as they were coming out. So these are original paperbacks. These 2 are original 1st edition hardcovers. I have yet to find the rest of the series in hardcover, but I am always looking for them. These are the new editions they are coming out with. I have the 1st and the 2nd. I try to find them used so that I'm not, you know, paying for full price again. I did have to buy this one full price when I was in New York and I wanted to take Empire State Building pictures. They are different though, which really bothers me. This one I got for $3 and it's like a thicker, really white pages, and this one is like the normal book. So I don't know what's going on with this one, but it was $3 and I want the skyline. I found the Titan's Curse graphic novel used, and I would love to find the rest. I've never seen them before in person except for this one. And finally, the most important ones I have, these are the Illumicrate special editions. I joined Illumicrate just so I could be able to order this. These sprayed edges face out at all times, and I look at them every single day, and it just throws me back into the love for this series that I have. And those are all of the duplicate books that I have in my library. It's not that many. It's mostly authors and books and series that I just absolutely love. When I'm traveling or when there's an extra special edition coming out of these books and series that I love, sometimes I just can't help myself and they come home and be part of the collection. So that means that every other book behind me is a solo on its own, doesn't have a duplicate, and that's how many books I have to read. So please let me know if you have any multiple editions of your favorite books, if they're special editions, or how you got them. I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.